Ernie, looking at the April San Joaquin Valley results, did we see some improvement?
The number was up briskly for the month, and that's, of course, good news for the four-county area that we survey here at the Craig School of Business at Fresno State. The businesses that we survey reported a real pretty good upturn for the month of April. And of course, that's a good signal. This is a leading economic indicator, and this leading economic indicator is pointing to improving growth for the four-county area.
What about employment for the region?
Employment was up, pretty good, healthy jump in employment, the employment index. And what we're seeing there is the economy is adding jobs, and we're talking about adding jobs in the four-county area at about an annual rate of 4%. Now that's real strong. Of course, the region has yet to capture back those jobs lost in the recession. So we're still a few thousand jobs below pre-recession levels, but we're moving in that direction. We're seeing some real good growth, particularly, say, for wholesale trade, looking very good. The export numbers were very strong for the month. Imports were up as well as businesses are growing. They're also growing by their purchases from abroad.
What about wholesale prices for the area?
Prices were up, and that's a little troubling, but that's elevated. The inflationary pressures are rising, but not at an alarming rate. But what it means is the Federal Reserve is going to continue to remove their stimulus. That means their bond buying program, reducing that bond buying program, what's called quantitative easing 3. Now, what does that mean for businesses and consumers out there? Higher long-term interest rates. Long-term interest rates will continue to move up. That means mortgage rates, of course. On the short-term interest rates, those will remain low and competitive, but we are going to see those rates rise as the Federal Reserve gets out of the bond buying business in the weeks and months ahead. In fact, they'll end the program by the end of 2014.
Drought has been a concern for the area. Is it still troubling in the mix?
The drought not only is affecting April numbers, it's likely to affect the numbers in the weeks and months ahead. About over 1/4 of the businesses reported some negative impacts from the drought, and of course that's very troubling. We had about almost 10% of the businesses anticipate, if the drought continues, some negative and severe impacts in the weeks and months ahead. So again, about almost 10% expect, if the drought continues, severe and negative impacts in 2014 as a result of the drought in terms of their businesses.
Is the drought having an impact on confidence in the region?
It not so much. It's surprising that confidence was up for the month, and of course I think that's just the job market's improving both in the San Joaquin Valley, the four-county area that we survey here at the Craig School of Business. That's looking better, and then of course the national job picture looking better. Even with the drought, confidence was up for the month, and again coming off of what I would say I won't say the Affordable Care Act, but the less discussion about the Affordable Care Act, and that's positive. In other words, there was so much discussion over the past few months about the negatives of the Affordable Care Act. Now, since the sign-up period has ended, we're seeing that confidence index improve for the month.
What else about the region?
I think importantly, again, we ask about if the drought continues, and about 70% expected negative impacts if the drought continues. Now that's, we separated severe from just negative. About 70% when you take the severe versus the not severe impacts going forward. So that's a real heavy burden for the economy, and of course that could really upset the economic apple cart and push it in a negative direction if this drought gets worse, and then of course the impact on farming and agriculture, and then those related industries like food processing, where those costs begin to increase fairly significantly for the inputs that these companies purchase.
Anything else?
I think again the manufacturing sector, of course, which is not a large part of the San Joaquin Valley economy, but it's an important part. We are seeing the companies continuing to grow output without growing a lot of jobs. without increasing their hiring. Of course, what that means is just higher productivity. So that's a good thing, but it hasn't been that good for the overall employment picture in the four-county area. But that's likely to change. I think we're seeing some stability in jobs in the manufacturing sector. I expect that to move forward in the weeks and months ahead.